So basically, whenever I grow up, I want to be Alaric Saltzman, but I don't think I could go as hard as Alaric. I mean, let's just talk about a couple of things that he dealt with. And by the way, if you're one of the few people who live on Mars or under a rock and you've never seen the Vampire Diaries, there's going to be a lot of spoilers. So for starters, his first wife literally leaves him to become a vampire. Like, she decides she would rather be a vampire than, like, be his wife. But then, like, once we find out who her ancestors are, that, like, totally makes sense. Next, he has that special ring that allows him to die and come back to life. And he does this, like, 80 bajillion times. And we know that this has a horrific effect on his mental health. I mean, how could that not have a terrible effect on your mental health? He became an original and literally tried to kill all of his friends, which are, like, actually his makeshift family. He witnessed the brutal massacre of his wife and children on his wedding day, as well as the massacre of, like, 75% of their wedding guests. Of everybody in, like, his little makeshift friend family, the only person who is, like, quasi-normal is Matt, and Alaric and Matt don't really have any type of relationship, really. I mean, they're friends, but, like, the people that he is closest to are murderers, vampires, werewolves, incredibly powerful witches. That's pretty intense. Imagine if, like, everybody in your family was, like, a supernatural being. Because of his association with his friend group, there is just constantly bad guys trying to get him. Like, he's just caught up in this crossfire of, like, battles going on between supernatural beings. He preserves the body of his massacred wife and has a ritual performed to bring her back to life. And this is, like, a while after she dies. This isn't, like, immediately they bring her back to life like some of the characters. Like, this is full-on intense necromancy. But on a side note, like, you always hear these love stories and there's, like, these romantic comedy movies of what women think is, like, the ultimate man and, like, what they look for. But just know, there are some of us that see a man who would literally sacrifice everything to preserve your dead body until a powerful witch could perform necromancy and bring you back to life. And some of us can appreciate that trait in a man. Oh, and let's not forget that he also ruptured his own eardrums. Because he's like, all my friends are supernatural, so, like, obviously somebody can probably fix this when we're done. Worst case scenario, he'll just be deaf for the rest of his life. I mean, that's pretty intense, and that's just, like, everything that I can remember off the top of my head. I'm sure there's, like, plenty more. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot his girlfriend was also murdered, and then he ends up raising her orphaned niece and nephew whose parents died in a terrible, tragic accident. Oh, I just thought of one more. The orphan niece that he ends up raising is the biological daughter of his first wife who left him to become a vampire. I think that's all. I'll probably think of, like, 20 more after I post this.